Darren, it's just Ross here. I'm just doing a radio check, okay? You're keeping an excellent headway there at the moment. You're in green there, so appreciate that. Thank you. So a typical day, depending on what shift you're on, you could be starting at 5 in the morning. You come in, you sign on, you see where your buses are at, you see who's running behind, who's running ahead of schedule, and then you're just planning for your day then pretty much. One route we have here, okay, and each one of these boxes is a bus en route at the moment. So you can see they're all different colours. So the green means the bus is on time, the yellow means the bus is slightly behind, then if the bus goes orange or red, the bus is ahead of schedule, and if the bus is purple, that means it's over 30 minutes behind schedule, okay? This is a high frequency route that we're running at the moment, so how we're measured is we try and create even gaps between the buses, okay? So realistically we want the two buses apart so the customer sees a consistent service, so 10 minutes between each bus, not 3 or 4 minutes or not 15 to 20 minutes, so a 10-minute service. So when they walk out the door, they know there's going to be an F1 every 10 minutes.
So if a bus is moving too fast, what advice would you give?
We'd call the driver and advise him to slow down, and he might ask where to slow down, and we'd give him specific places to slow down, and we might tell him he might need to run a couple of minutes behind schedule and slow down. A busy day would range between 300 or 400 calls. You're calling drivers, that's on the radio, and then we'd have more calls on the phone. You could ring the garages and stuff like that as well.
If something like a protest is happening, or a fire or a collision, what do you do?
So basically we'll start seeing the buses going delayed, and drivers will start calling in and giving us information saying there's a protest or there's a fire somewhere. So then we have to make a decision, do we have to divert the buses out of that area? And if we do, we're doing open calls. So an open call is where we tell all the drivers on that route that there's a fire and where we need to divert to. Open call on the F2s there, that accident has been cleared there now, so we're back to normal route there. Normal route, everyone, thanks for your help. So the driver has two ways of responding. He has a foot switch here where he can contact the control room just for a regular call. He also has an emergency button, so if it's an emergency, say he's been, maybe someone being attacked on the bus or there's a medical emergency, he can press that and that goes straight to all the controllers in the whole room, and it flashes red and lets the controllers know there's an emergency going on that bus and the driver needs help straight away. So the radio, there's a foot switch here at the bottom here, so I just do this. Going to contact control now.
So that's generally all the Dublin City Council cameras that we'd have around the city, so we'd have access to view them. So if any incidents that are going to affect our services throughout the day, we generally use that then just to keep an eye on things and what's happening. So if we have to put diversions in place, or if we have to divert, off of main areas or anything like that, we can keep an eye. So if an incident does happen, we generally send the chief inspector down to scene to liaise directly with us. But we'll keep an eye here then, and that just gives us the general overview. So the recent protests would be a good example of that. We can see what things are moving, where we're getting congestion, and if we have to, say, re-alter diversions, that we can do it then based on what we're seeing here. So it gives us a general overview.
What would have happened during the protest or any recent incidents like that?
So yeah, generally with that, it was quite a fluid situation. So obviously where all the vehicles had set down on O'Connell Street, we had main diversions in place to take us off of the main O'Connell Street area. But the nature of that particular protest was that it was moving, so we would say divert off O'Connell Street, then we'd get word that they had actually moved to a different location where we had divert to, so we'd have to rejig the diversion again then, so we'd have to move them to a different location. So that was particularly challenging in the nature of the way it happened. But look, again, looking at it from here, that helped us as well, in what way we were doing it. So yeah, it's ongoing communication. As I said, we have feet on the ground through chief inspectors, keeping an eye on that, and then we liaise with the guards as well then, just to see what way we need to keep moving things as well. So
if there's any antisocial behaviour or anything like that, are you concerned for your drivers? What do you do?
Yeah, well, 100%. I mean, antisocial behaviour, it's out there, it's something we have to manage. So, I mean, our primary focus is safety of passengers and our staff. So, yeah, if there's an incident in an area, generally what we do is we withdraw services for an hour. If there's a second incident, then we withdraw them for the evening. And again, it's just based around passenger safety and our driver safety as well. So, yeah, look, it's inconvenient when we have to do it, but we obviously have to do it for safety reasons. So we have established procedures in place to do that when it does happen. Yeah.
When a bus might disappear, or what they call phantom buses, or when it stops abruptly, what does that mean? What's happening behind the scenes?
Generally what could happen there with that is, say if a bus has to be taken out of service suddenly, so the example you used there would be if something has happened, antisocial behaviour, we have to divert the bus suddenly out of an area, so it's obviously scheduled on the real time that it's going to be there in the next few minutes, but if we have to make a curtailment suddenly, we'll have to take it out of the area, and we might not just get it out of the system on time, that the real time is still reflecting the bus to to arrive in the next few minutes, for example. So if that does happen, we generally try and get the information out as quickly as we can. The lads here will do that here by curtailing the room. That'll generally take it out of the system and it won't appear. But yeah, look, sometimes we just don't get ahead of it as quick as we would like, but we always aim to do it as quick as we can, yeah.
One of the areas we've focused on with regards to items within our control for improved performance is our ahead running. And ahead running is when a bus leaves a bus stop earlier than scheduled. If I get to the bus stop on time in accordance with the schedule and the bus has left early, I'm not going to be able to get that bus. However, if I get to the bus stop on time and a bus arrives late, I'm going to get that bus. So very much within our control is that ahead running, and we've tried to reduce that down to very small numbers to basically give the customers a better service. However, if you look at the behind running, which is buses arriving late to their bus stops, a lot of the dominant factors that affect that are outside of our control, and they are a lot of external factors like traffic congestion, like protests, like unplanned events, and they're the things that are outside of our control.